I don't think anybody needs to hop on the bandwagon whenever it comes to these different diets because everybody's body is different. But one of the biggest things that kind of kicked my butt into gear was trying to throw a baseball with my nephew. And throwing a baseball does not take that much cardiovascular work. But I was huffing and puffing. If I had to define what a fit person is to me, I wouldn't say like they have the six-pack physique. I honestly would say that
Welcome to the 1334 podcast. Today, Corey Young joins me to talk about health and fitness. We discuss things like sleep, supplementation, and what ways that we can start today to begin living a healthier life. I believe that a leader is one of the most demanding positions in any organization. Why is it that so many leaders tend to neglect their own health?
That's such a good question. I really think it just ties into the fact that we can neglect our health because we don't really see it as a benefit for our organization, or we don't see it as a benefit for our nonprofit. We don't see it as a benefit in those areas of life where in turn it actually has so much impact on our day-to-day lives. Cognitively, in our mental functions, in our ability to work under stress and under load, our health is so vital for us as leaders in our organization to be as healthy as possible. It doesn't mean like counting calories, dieting all this time, but like spending 30 minutes to an hour a day working out, eating healthier, eating cleaner can actually benefit us in the long run for whenever those high stress situations come in, whenever the workload gets a little bit too much, or even if you have a physically demanding job, like being able to perform better, all comes down to how are we treating ourselves.
What would be some of the first steps somebody should take to start living a healthier life?
I think as far as like your first steps, always start out with doing something different, something new. So like if you like to walk, go outside for 30 minutes a day. It doesn't have to be a sprint. Just go outside, walk around. If you have a baby, take them in the stroller. Just do something light. You don't have to get up and go straight to the gym, pump out 315 on a squat. Like as long as you're getting your body moving, like 10,000 steps a day, I knocked that out in the first couple of hours of my work, but I know that my body has been moving. As far as like nutrition wise, if somebody's wanting to start in that area, like maybe they've already started working out, but they have not really dialed in anything else, I would just say cutting out sodas, cutting out unnecessary calories. So like if you're enjoying a Snickers bar at night, maybe you can cut that out. That's an extra 400 calories right there. Drinking more water, trying to cut out as much processed sugars, processed foods, and just trying to eat clean. That's always the greatest starting point.
What do you think of a specific like diet as the right choice? Because I know a lot of times what happens is people become paralyzed because they're analyzing all of these things. So what would you say for someone that's like, I want to eat healthier, but I don't know where to start? Where do they jump to? One of the bandwagons? Keto, carnivore, paleo, counting macros, fully plant? Like what direction should somebody take?
So as far as it comes to dieting and diet culture, I think that's where a lot of us get so overwhelmed. Even myself, whenever I was doing the bodybuilding show for the first time, I didn't understand dieting. But I don't think anybody needs to hop on the bandwagon whenever it comes to these different diets because everybody's body is different. So whereas your body might react to keto, my body might react better to paleo. But I mean, if you're wanting to jump on the bandwagon of these things, like it's good to just try them to see what your body reacts to. The only issue I have when it comes to like a keto diet and then offering that to somebody is if they slip up on that diet, they're going to balloon back to, their weight either whenever they started or they'll gain back some of the weight. So I think the easiest thing for people to like start focusing on is CICO, calories in, calories out. And there's so many ways that you can determine this, but like all you have to do is just Google, even ChatGPT. I'm a 6-foot male, 29 years old. My body weight is 188 pounds. What are my maintenance calories?
Yeah.
And based on that, it will shoot you out a number. Like right now, I think my maintenance calories is 2,800 calories. So if I eat more than 2,800 calories, I'm in a calorie surplus. That means I'm going to start putting on weight. If I eat maybe 100 to 200 calories less, then I'll start to lose weight because I'm underneath my calorie threshold. And that's so much easier than like, does this piece of food have sugar? Is this going to take me out of ketosis? Is this paleo? Is this a part of the Daniel fast? Is this, that, and the third? Like it's not something that you really have to focus on other than like just tracking your calories with any free app that's out there.
Can you talk to me a little bit about the mental benefits of exercise in general? And then maybe, is there one form of exercise that benefits cognitive function and mental health better?
So I'll go ahead and answer the last part first. I don't think there's one specific exercise that's going to help cognitive or mental health. I really believe just in general, us getting out and doing something active with our body is going to produce serotonin within us, and it's going to make us feel better. Like whenever I get done with a workout, like I feel accomplished. I feel so much better.
Yeah.
But I really believe that like as long as we are doing something, we are benefiting our mental health. I know a lot of people like I know there's a saying that goes around jiu-jitsu. There's a saying that goes around the gym as well, like the gym saved me. Jiu-jitsu saved my life.
Yeah.
And I believe it's because like when we are in depression, when we are in anxiety, and I can attest to this, I dealt with anxiety and depression and suicidal thoughts for 10 plus years. And once I was able to get into the gym, have goals, have motivation, I started to see my mental health take a turn for the better.
Yeah.
And I really feel like, one, it's because we're not allowing ourselves to isolate. Isolation is the biggest killer whenever it comes to mental health. And so us getting around a gym, or as CrossFitters would say, a box, or even like a jiu-jitsu gym, like we're surrounding ourselves with people. So one, that's breaking down the isolation that we always try to carry whenever it comes to mental health. But also think like two, like when we're in these mental health, I don't want to say crises, but like when we're struggling with mental health, like one of the biggest things is like we don't have goals to go towards. And so it kind of brings us back to a feeling of like not being worth anything.
Yeah.
But also like we're not achieving anything, so we're less than. And so it just continues to feed into those lies. And so like even just having like the small bits of like, okay, I want to add 5 pounds to my squat this week. And I do that. That's a goal achieved, but also I can go back home feeling so much better.
Yeah.
Not only about myself, but like what I've accomplished just within that week.
That reminds me of, I think one of the main reasons so many young men are addicted to video games is because there's a clear objective, a clear goal. Hey, if I do these things, I level up. If I do these things, if I go do this mission, I get this item, And I feel like if young men could find something like the gym or jiu-jitsu or Muay Thai or boxing or something along those lines where it's like every week I show up, I can try to get better at this thing. It can help unlock that mentality. So if somebody is struggling mentally with just the weight of the organization, trying to get grants written, trying to balance volunteers. What sort of thing, is it just a walk? Like what sort of thing should they start with? Say, hey, I need to blow off some steam. I need to move my body. I need to get out of my head and into my body. Should they find a gym first? Should they sign up for Planet Fitness? What would you say the first step is? Starting from like nowhere.
Yeah, I think if you're starting from nowhere, I think the first step is literally the first step. So like I said, like you don't need a gym membership. You don't need anything. I mean, there's calisthenics. There's so much that you can do at the house. Push-ups, sit-ups, go for a walk. I mean, if you have a pull-up bar, same thing. But I feel like it kind of goes back to like whenever we're in creative ruts or when, we have writer's block. And the biggest thing that they teach you whenever it comes to writer's block is to step away from the work, give it some time to breathe, and then come back to it to where your mind is refreshed.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same thing with like a leader in an organization is you're constantly under this pressure to perform. Sometimes you need to take a step out, go for a walk, go for a run, go for a bike ride, do some push-ups. Like it doesn't have to be this grandiose thing where you have a personal trainer, where you have a Planet Fitness membership, but it could be as simple as those things to step away from the work, clear the mind, focus on something else. And then whenever you come back to it, I believe that your mind's going to be more open, but also more clear to be able to go back and handle the process or the situation.
Yeah. Donald Miller in his book, I think it's called A Million Miles in 1,000 Years, something like that. He talks about how one of the things he did to help start writing his own life, and really the book's kind of about agency, taking agency over his own life, was watching the Tour de France and realizing that he could go get a bike and ride a bike, and he would ride 10, 15 miles a day, which isn't crazy. He probably rode for an hour maybe.
Yeah.
And so that was one of those things where he was like, I can do this and find an adventure and find something to work toward and begin writing a new chapter of his life. And I think that's a really cool way to look at like, I want to get a bigger bench press or, but the thing is, I know a lot of people don't actually care about numbers. They don't care about, lifting weights. Most people, when they work out, they don't feel any better and they just feel exhausted, So I think framing it that way and finding a way to put it where it's like, hey, you're working to accomplish a thing, whether it's carrying your baby for a longer time or carrying more groceries in, or being able to, if your stroller starts running away, being able to sprint 10 yards and grab it. There's always a different way to begin to frame things. Is there a way that you would try and reframe the, I don't have the time, I don't have the resources, I would rather be sleeping than wake up at 5 a.m., that kind of thing? I guess the kind of what I'm asking is there a way to make it less about I need to be disciplined and I need to be motivated and this is just kind of who I am? I don't know if I'm asking.
I think I'm getting what you're saying, and I'll equate this back to my life. Back 5 years ago, right before I got married, I was 260 pounds. We were fat, Corey, back then, and it wasn't that like I lacked motivation or anything like that, but just life circumstances, mental health, all this other kind of stuff, the stress of getting married. But one of the biggest things that kind of kicked my butt into gear was trying to throw a baseball with my nephew. And throwing a baseball does not take that much cardiovascular work. But I was huffing and puffing, could not formulate a sentence to save my life after throwing a baseball. Not even having to run to go get the baseball. Like this kid is actually really good at baseball. So like that was just me taking a small little bit of effort and realizing like I want to have a kid soon.
Yeah.
And I can't even throw a baseball with my nephew right now. And I took that, and it wasn't like about any of the numbers at first. It wasn't like doing powerlifting where I care about the numbers now. It was literally just, I want to be able to carry my child, play with my child, even up until I'm 50, 60, 70, 80, however old the Lord allows. I never want the hindrance to be, I never had time to better myself, so now my kid has to suffer.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good way to put it. I think there's a lot of ways that we talk ourselves either out of the right things or into the fast food, into I'm at the grocery store, I might as well grab some cookies. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of ways that we talk ourselves into bad habits and out of good habits. Is there anything you have found with setting habits that has really helped you?
I think the best for me has been like short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals.
Okay.
Because like when we have just long-term goals, we never feel like we're accomplishing anything because it might take 6-8 months to get there. When we have like a medium-term goal, and I don't think there's a proper terminology for it, but like I feel like it's the same thing with a long-term goal. Like we're not accomplishing anything, and then we finally get to accomplish, and then it's like, oh, well, I still got 2 more months to get to my next accomplishment.
Yeah.
So really focusing on like short-term goals, like week 1, I want every day to at least have 10,000 steps.
Yeah.
Okay. So every day I know my goal is to get 10,000 steps. By the end of the month, my midterm goal, I want my average for that month to be more or equal to 10,000 steps. So not just 10,000 steps a day, but my monthly average to say that.
Yeah.
And then maybe for the year, it's like, I want to have accumulated, because I believe like 10,000 steps is about 5 miles, if I'm not mistaken. So I want my accumulative steps to equal this number of miles that I have actually put in for this year.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it allows us to stay focused day to day, but not get too bogged down with the day to day, because we also have our midterm and then we also have our long-term goals. Yeah. And so I feel like structuring it that way really helps kind of keep the discipline, but not it be too overwhelming for the individual.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of like endurance athletes that will we'll have a marathon in August. So in March, I'm going to race this half marathon and set different, or I want to try my goal marathon pace for this marathon coming up, but for the one later on, or for this Ironman sprint, I want to be able to finish it in this amount of time. You know, that kind of thing, where they pick, I think they call it A, B, and C goals, where A is the main thing.
Yep.
And B is I would love to be able to do this, where you have things along the way, little milestones you're trying to check off. So in what ways do you think that a nonprofit leader in particular could begin to work in these new habits? Because I know some nonprofits are like me and we have different jobs and still do this. I know one in particular who he owns his own business, and he's also every weekend he's going to help the homeless. So what ways do you think somebody with a really, really busy schedule could end up creating new habits? Is it I'll walk 20 minutes after every meal, or like what sort of small habits would you begin to implement?
So yeah, I think when it comes down to like that, it's easy for us to get bogged down in like the timing of everything. Like you said earlier, sometimes it's not feasible for us to wake up at 4:00 in the morning to go to the gym and then go to our 9 to 5 and then take care of our nonprofit afterwards, or vice versa. But it's the whole point of it. Like, I feel like so many of us think that like the gym has to take 2 hours. Like we've always known that like, oh, well, I'm going to have to be in the gym for an hour and a half, 2 hours to get my workout done.
Like pumping iron.
But that's not the case. I think if you take 20 minutes, Like, if you can make your breakfast and you're, say, putting on a breakfast omelet, and the amount of time it took me to make that, I can have something pre-made already. Use that time that I was going to do to cook, spend that time working out, 10 minutes of walking. Maybe it is 5 minutes walking after every meal. Maybe it's just, I'm going to do 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, and 50 jumping jacks.
Yeah.
Something to get the body moving first thing in the morning or later in the day. But as long as we're spending 10 to 30 minutes moving our bodies, that's all you need. You don't need more. I mean, that's more than most people do in a week.
Yeah.
And if you can implement that just every other day at least, like that's slowly improving yourself.
Yeah. If you only had 10 exercises that you could do for the rest of your life, what would you pick?
Because I'm a powerlifting junkie now. Squat, bench, deadlift. Those are the 3 essentials. They're just the godfathers of lifting. So squat, bench, deadlift. Does cardio count?
Cardio is an exercise.
Okay. We'll go walking or running because I love to. Let's see. We'll go dumbbell flies.
Okay.
Man, this is hard. I got 5 more. Barbell rows.
Okay.
We'll go leg curl, leg extension.
Okay.
2 more. What do I got?
There's one I'm thinking of that you haven't said. I'm not sure you're going to say. Michael Gilbert will be mad at you.
We're going to definitely hit the pull-ups.
Okay, thank you.
And I think for my final one, I'll keep it kind of crazy just because I like it. But we will go with tricep extensions.
Oh, okay.
You'll work out your biceps and other movements that I talked about, but if you're really wanting to improve your bench, you need your triceps, so you need to add some type of variety there. But if I think I could get a very good programming out of just those 10 movements right there.
What would you define a fit person as? Like, so my thought behind the question is if our whole conversation today is about being more healthy leaders, then our goal would be to become more fit. So how would you define somebody that's fit?
Man, that's such as simple of a question as that is, it's so thought-provoking. If I had to define what a fit person is to me, I wouldn't say like they have the 6-pack physique. I honestly would say that for somebody to be fit, does their physical fitness hinder anything in their life from being able to do it? What do I mean?
That's so good.
Are you able to go for a run with your kid? Are you able to go play with your kid? Are you able to carry in the groceries for your wife? Are you able to set up and tear down for your nonprofit's, function that you might have? Are you able to carry somebody who needs to be carried up the stairs? Can you help somebody move?
Yeah.
I feel like that would define as somebody who is physically fit to me. It doesn't have to do with the aesthetics. It's all about the functionality of it. Can I bend over and pick up my kid? Can I carry my kid? Can I go to the grocery store and instead of taking 17 trips carrying one bag, can I just manhandle it and just carry all 17 bags?
Yeah.
Not that that is a real definer, but I think that would be my definition of what a physically fit person would be.
I think a lot of people end up thinking that to be fit, they need to be able to run a marathon or deadlift a certain amount or usually look like somebody else. I think at the end of the day, a lot of people want to not be hindered and to look better with their shirt off. And I think at the end of the day, like you were saying, one of the best things you said that you could do is make sure that you care about the calories going in and the calories going out and do something small every single day.
Yeah. So I meant like, if we were to just sum it up, like it's the small things that matter in the long term. If you're wanting to eat better, you don't have to follow the TikTok fads. Just start by tracking your calories, find your maintenance calories. I think MyFitnessPal, I've used something called Chronometer. They're free, but it will give you your maintenance calories and it will help you determine like how much calories you need per day just to stay at the weight that you are. But, the biggest thing is like, don't allow time or the expectation of like, well, I'm not running a marathon, I'm not doing this. Like, that all doesn't matter in the long term. It comes down to, can I still be able to move and function well when I'm older? Can I still run my nonprofit when I'm older? Am I physical enough to, whenever age does start to become a thing, that it never hinders? Why? Because I've taken the small steps now to make sure my longevity in my job, in my nonprofit, in my leadership role can sustain long term.
Are there any supplements that you would recommend that, I know obviously there's not a one pill going to fix everything kind of thing, but is there anything that you would recommend somebody could get to either improve cognitive function or to improve longevity?
So I know studies have come out about 5 to 10 milligrams of creatine a day. Even just starting off your day with creatine can help with your cognitive function. You also have some of the stuff that's been coming out, like the lion's mane mushrooms and stuff like that are really good and can actually help. But I feel as like supplements, like your biggest things is going to be creatine. If it's hard for you to get in protein, supplementing protein with protein powder, fish oils to help with the joints. And then, from there, you have your vitamin D's and stuff like that, but those are just like your normal supplements. But the most that I take is creatine, EAAs, which is basically essential amino acids, kind of like your BCAAs, and protein powder. And that's all I've ever really dabbled in whenever it comes to that kind of stuff. But I feel a difference in the morning whenever I do take my creatine versus whenever I don't, in my brain's ability to kind of process things.
I heard that sleep is the most effective but underutilized performance enhancer. Is there anything that you would say to like improve sleep or sleep hygiene or even just like going to bed and waking up at the same time?
Yeah, so a routine is great. Going to bed at the same time at night, waking up at the same time in the morning is great because it kind of gives your body routine. And I know I'm going to throw a term out there, but your circadian rhythm is never really played with. If you're, going to bed at 3 a.m. one night and then going to bed at 9 p.m. one night, like your body's just all out of whack. So I would say like pick a good time. Like let's just use 9 p.m. for an example. I want to be asleep by 9. Okay. So I want to have my last meal about an hour and a half, 2 hours before then, because I wanted to be able to digest. Once you start the sleeping process or sitting down, your body's going to slow down its metabolism. So a lot of that food's going to sit. Sometimes it can kind of hinder sleep, at least personally for me. But I would say get into bed an hour early, get off your phone, get rid of screen time. You don't need it to go to sleep. I'm preaching to myself right now. But if you're allowing yourself to just lay in the bed, giving yourself that hour to start winding down without the screen time, because the screen and everything is going to ignite our brain to start processing again. Allowing yourself that time to go to sleep, that's going to be perfect. And I say perfect very loosely because, of course, as a father, as you are a father as well, like we know if we want to be in bed by 9, we can pray that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But
it's not really in our control.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I would definitely say those things. If you're somebody who has to wake up early, take your shower at night.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to wake up earlier just to be able to take a shower before work. Shower the night before. Allow that time to be able to give in, like sleeping longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just those small things can help benefit in the long term. But also, like you said, like sleep is going to be your biggest performance enhancing drug. If there is one supplement I could offer, screw all the creatine and stuff that I said earlier. Sleep, and more sleep.
I heard that you lose the most weight while sleeping. Is that true?
I don't know. I haven't heard that before. I feel like a lot of the times it's because, one, like if you're weighing yourself in the morning, of course you're going to be a lot lighter than you were yesterday at night. Just due to the fact of you're dehydrated, your body's been in a fasted state for, God, we can pray for 8 hours, maybe 6 hours, but I'm not too entirely sure on that. I'm gonna have to look that up now.
What are your thoughts on caffeine consumption? I'm a bit of a caffeine addict, but
I am too. At least 1,000 milligrams a day. I'm kidding. I would say if you're somebody that needs caffeine, I'd drive early in the morning. You drive for your job as well, and so sometimes caffeine supplementation is fine. But I would say, especially if you're trying to get better rest, better sleep, better recovery, I've found stopping my caffeine consumption at about 2 p.m., 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., just depending on what time I get to the gym, because I'll take a little bit of pre-workout, but it's not caffeinated. But I would definitely say, like, stop your intake a good 4 to 6 hours before you're planning to go to bed. And that will kind of benefit you whenever it comes to your sleep and your recovery. But also, like, who needs 400 milligrams of caffeine right before they go to bed? There's no need.
No.
Cut it off before. If you need to get caffeine-free Coke Zeros or Coke, whatever, like, that's fine. So you can have your little bubbly beverage at the end of the night. But, you know, don't go over 300 plus milligrams a day. It's not really good for your heart unless you're trying to train your heart to failure. But that's not a good recommendation by any doctor. But yeah, I would definitely say those would be my key things whenever it comes to caffeine.
If anybody wants to learn more from you, follow you and your journey, where is it that they could find you, find your information, and learn a bit more about? Because are you going to be you put out like tips and tricks and fitness related content, right?
Yeah. So on Instagram, it's CoreyY.lifts. And you can also find me at Tribal. I'm one of the coaches there for the group classes. And also I will be heading up with them their online coaching programs. So if you're wanting to look into one-on-one personal trainings in-house or even online, you can find us at Tribal Fitness 229. And if there's any other information, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook, or if you see me around town. I'm always down to talk fitness.
Well, thank you for your time today.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Enjoyed it.